Couch Co-op. Couch Co-op. Couch Co-op.
Hello, Couch Co-opers, Couch Potatoes, and Couch Codependents. This is the Couch Co-op Show, and I'm Ian, and I got Nick with me tonight. Hey, Nick, how's it going?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Tired, but fantastic.
Yes. Yes.
Happy Mother's Day, motherfucker.
No, we don't have kids.
No, but you're a motherfucker. So yes, Happy Mother's Day.
Well,
Tell
I
all my
guess,
mothers.
Okay.
Tell my mothers.
Dear Mama.
Yeah. Please do me a favor and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Couch Co-op Shows, all one word, no hyphen. It's kind of a weird night. We were scheduled to do a beer, and then I couldn't get the beer. Dave didn't have the beer. Then I tried to get us to do another beer. That didn't happen. So then we postponed the co-op, and I said, hey, if everyone just wants to hang out at 9 p.m. and do video games, it's like, but no one replied. So I just figured everyone was going to show up. But clearly everyone has decided not to show up, except Nick here, who always shows up. Thanks, Nick, for showing up.
Yeah, hardcore.
I don't really. I mean, I was gonna pose a my thing was I was gonna if we had everybody, I was gonna just pose a question and then take turns listening to everyone's answers, and I felt that would fill a whole bunch of time. I could have posed the question to you, but it'd just be like, but it's fine. I could pose the question just to you, if you like.
I could talk slowly.
No, you could just talk normal. I'll just ask you more questions.
I could do it like the 900 number treatment where,
You do it sexy?
No, I meant more like one word every 10 seconds.
Oh, I got you. Draw it out.
Yeah, like Simpsons.
Halfway through a word, you like, oh, we need your credit card number again. Oh, boy. Oh, I mean,
What's your question?
My question tonight was going to be, well, it was a two-parter. The first part was going to be, what do you think video games are doing really well right now? And then what do you think they're doing very poorly right now? So let's go with that. Like, what do you think video games in this day and age currently is doing very well? If anything, maybe you don't agree. Maybe you think they don't do anything cool.
No, I mean, just they've gotten. We're talking compared to like when I first started gaming back in the NES era. I mean, obviously games have gotten a lot larger. But I have kind of noticed like a lot of the open world games just it's almost a little lather, rinse, repeat.
How about this question? How about this question then? Are you as in love with video games now as you were back when you first got into them? Do you think?
No, but I mean, there could be a whole host of reasons for why that is. One that I've always wondered is being older, if my reaction times have dulled. The other thing that I noticed, especially when playing with, like either like NES emulators, like on a phone or even like on the Wii, going from an analog controller directly connected to something that's more wireless, there's just like that split second bit of whatever data is moving across that like even my bad reaction time or whatever, it's even more compounded because there's still just that split second where things just don't respond as quickly as I would even need them to, and then I end up struggling to do whatever it is that I'm trying to do. Like even if I'm playing an old game on a newer system, or probably even something these days.
Do people around you give you? Do you feel weird liking video games current like now, or do you are you okay with it?
Um,
Like in a group
no,
of certain.
actually, I mean, it's a lot more mainstream than it was back when growing up, like back in the late '80s with an NES, and even then, that was probably a lot more mainstream than probably people who were just like maybe 5, 10 years older than me that were playing on video game systems like prior to that '83 crash,
Right.
um, like whatever Atari and whatever Vision.
Well, most of the time, I feel like with people my own age, like you and my friends, I don't have an issue with video games are video games. We get along. We can talk about them. At work, within my office, I do feel weird that I'm the video game guy, and I don't like to talk about it because I do feel like even though there's like people that are younger than me, I feel like it's in their eye that like they're more educated, or they're I don't know what it is, but they're in a different environment and a different I don't know how to say it, but they're just at a different place in life that they don't care about it, or maybe they played video games once when they were young, but it's not something they're into, and so like me being the only person in that department that's into it, like I don't like to talk. When it comes up, I just like want to deflect it because it's like it's not something I want to get into because I just feel like oh, it's a kid's toy. Whereas when I'm with you guys or I'm with it's just common. It's just like a common dialogue.
Well, did you mention their ages? Your
I
coworker?
have like so my supervisor Nick, he's the same age as me. He plays video games, but to a lesser degree, and they're mostly just like NBA 2K. Then we have a couple writers that are like younger than me, and then there's other people that are administration in our department that's you know older than me, like in their 50s. So like it's like whole it's like it's between 50 and late 30s. So there's people that could be
That's
playing
good.
video games but they don't. So it's just
I wonder
weird.
if it's a good combination of generational and probably whatever they're wherever they grew up, like what kind of I can't think of the word, but I mean just like kind of what type of neighborhood I guess they grew up in.
It's just
Because I mean,
it's just one of the one areas where I just like I don't feel comfortable talking about what I'm into. Like anywhere other kind of like a situation, I'm fine with it. But that one is like as soon as it comes up, I deflect and I don't want to talk about it.
could just be I don't know, because like I obviously have a completely different job than what you have. You know, my coworkers, a bunch of truck drivers and warehouse guys, and some of the older ones, even as much as like 5, 10 years older than me, probably still shake their head at like what video games are. They still have the whole you need to get your ass outdoors and go shoot stuff, or just go build a fire somewhere, or go outside and play. Um, I mean, but then there's younger guys that, well, I shouldn't say that because there's a guy that's older than me who is um, on. He's all about games on launch day. Like he was right there for them back PS4, Xbox One, got both of them on launch, and probably the same with um, the five, and I don't know. I'm assuming he got the Series X, but he's more of an anomaly. But I mean, like the younger guys that I work with, I mean, they're like, oh yeah, they're all about it. Um, but a lot of them, um, they're more of the into the more of the, like the sports, the Call of Duty type stuff. I
Right.
mean, so I mean, even then, their um, focus is more narrowed. But I mean, there was like when Destiny 2 came out, I remember that. There were a lot of guys that actually took the day off just to play Destiny 2, like a lot of the night warehouse guys kind of I mean, they didn't call in sick; they actually scheduled it. But I just remember that kind of being a big deal because one of the guys loading their truck that night was kind of bitching about it. Like, all these guys, they took the night off so they could play Destiny 2. And I was like, what, you mad because you're shorthanded? He's like, no, because I want to be right there with them. I just couldn't.
Do you think? Do you? I mean, so if you don't love the hobby as much as you say you used to, what do you think keeps you in it? Is this like you're always going to be kind of connected to it, or is there? You think there'll be a point where
Yeah,
you
I
just are
mean,
done?
it's not that I mean, I love it less. It's just the amount of time, and I mean, obviously, I'm me playing doesn't necessarily pay the bills. I'm sorry, I'm not Fatality or whatever his name is.
Well, you could be Ninja, or you could be Doctor Disrespect, or you could be.
Or whomever. I'm glad I'm not PewDiePie.
Is he even around? I think he is still around, but
I don't know. Who cares?
so.
I'll be racist somewhere else.
But you guys, I mean, you have your niece that's in the house that plays video games. Your wife, does she not, or
Yeah,
your soon-to-be wife, she plays kind of.
kind of like she played some older stuff. Like
But she doesn't play unless you kind of like instigate it, or will she play without your instigation?
no, I mean it's like maybe I just caught her at the right time, but like Animal Crossing New Horizons, she was just all over that. And all I did was kind of point her to it, and it probably helped that she knew somebody at work that played it, and so they were jumping on each other's islands. But in, I guess, typical pre-wife fashion, anybody else that I knew played the game, she wanted nothing to do with, just because I think it was more of a level of comfort than
Oh,
anything.
right.
But whatever. I mean, at least like for a good better part of a year, she was on that game for almost daily, if not more. And it probably helped when she was working from home because she'd take her breaks and just kind of jump on real quick. And the Switch being what the Switch is, she didn't actually have to have it on TV.
Right.
She could just like, because I mean, the her niece sleeps in it now, but back in the day it was a guest bed. So it's like when she got on her break and I'm sitting there in the other room sleeping, she just jumped on the bed and started playing for like 20 minutes and then went back to work.
Yeah, it's funny those. It's funny that they don't try and mass produce those types of games because my wife jumped into Animal Crossing and she was in it for like 200 plus hours. Like that during all of the whole COVID thing, that was just her go-to game. Like she's usually an ESO person, but like man, Animal Crossing, she just sunk so much. And then now she's okay with it being done. Like I know there's DLC out for it now, but she's like, "Nah, I don't it served its purpose." 200 hours is a lot of time, but
Yeah, I don't know how many hours she had. I mean, I could probably go down and look at some point, but I mean, she'll still check in every time there's like an update. She'll like check in, just kind of go around and tend to her island, and that'll occupy her for a couple of days, and then it's back to being ignored. But I mean, the main reason we even got the Switch is because she wanted to play Mario Kart. So, I mean, she was into that game too. Like she's kind of into some. I mean, it's kind of weird because it's like I would get some other games that I think she'd be into, and just like no interest. Like Mario Party, no, doesn't care. Kirby, no. Sports,
maybe if there was a group playing it, she'd get into it, but she's not going to play it
yeah.
on her own. Right. I get that.
Well, no, but I mean, like even just doing Mario Party with her and me,
Oh,
like she's just like,
I don't want to play with you, Nick.
I guess not. Well, whatever.
Well, what makes you? Because I know you are a creature of habit. So like a lot of like game, you love the Fallout series. So what gets you
Yeah,
playing a new game
kind of.
versus going back to an old game like Fallout 3 or or whatever? What gets you? Is there any games that like actually? Oh, that's cool. I'll play that, but you'll just go back to Fallout or something.
No, I mean I haven't. played Fallout 4. I mean, I probably played like a few minutes, like maybe a month ago. But
Oh, so it's been a
no,
while.
I've been actually trying to keep myself playing some of these other newer games that basically I've heard you guys talk about. Um, because it is kind of, I mean, I don't know why I fall into the habit of Fallout. I mean, because I mean, I don't even like Fallout 4 is fine, but I mean, I mean, I'm not in love with it as
It's
much
not a
as like
great.
you
Yeah, it's
guys.
not the best game. Yeah.
I mean, there's things that I really like about it,
Hmm.
but I mean, it's more just, I mean, I'm not really grabbed by the story that much. Um, but I mean, I mean, like I was kind of intrigued by the whole settlement building thing. I mean, that was just kind of cool. And so really it's all about just like building that up and just kind of going out. I think I've mentioned this before, but just like farming gear from trying to like find some really good stuff and just dole it out to them and then try and find like some sort of enemy that's nearby that can probably attack the settlement just to see what happens
Right.
and just watch them annihilate or get annihilated.
Of the newer games you've been playing, which one has roped you in the most, or is close to roping you in?
Like besides that and Red Dead.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, has Red Dead roped you in?
Well, it did for a while. I mean, I spent a fair amount of time.
But you're not playing it currently, right?
No, because I mean I already beat it, but I mean that was I was playing that before I even started playing Fallout 4.
Okay, so
I
like
mean I
then
stopped.
like so like the newest games you have, like the last games you like, it's Kirby Sports,
Oh well,
Switch
I
Sports. You
I
have
guess.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Mhm.
Like what of the newest shit you have that you've started playing? Which one is
Oh, okay,
closest to grabbing you to like?
okay. Well then probably Kirby because I started playing it like last weekend, and I wound up with surprise days off this weekend, and so that was pretty much my go-to game. Like I probably put in like 6 or 8 hours this weekend into it.
Oh, so you've been playing pretty hardcore.
Yeah, I have like to the point to where people were complaining in the house. Like, can we watch that? Can we actually watch TV instead of you watching this dumb game?
Well, they can watch
Like,
TV without you, can't they?
there's a TV in every room in the house, but not all of them are the 55 inch.
Oh, oh, do you play it not handheld? You played it on the TV.
Yeah, I play it on the TV
Okay, gotcha.
because I like the actual little controller rather than holding the thing itself. Because part of it is I'm scared I'll drop it,
Oh, you need to get the We've
but
talked
the other
about it.
part is
We
I like playing it on the TV.
No, I know, but like Nick, Jarrod, and I think Aaron has one too. You get to get the little like $20 8-bit little USB stick. It's like a wireless stick, and then you can sync a PlayStation or Xbox controller to it. So you don't have to use the little tiny controllers. You can use a
Oh,
nicer controller. It's like $20, like 19.95 on Amazon. Um,
yeah,
it's super cool, and you sync your controller to it, and then you don't have to have a
yeah, it would
tiny.
be. I mean, it's not too bad. It just becomes really confusing if I play Rocket League on the Switch versus the
Oh,
PS4 because then everything is like all compact, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
these just don't feel right. I mean, not that either or is gonna do me any better because I suck on both versions, but
Have you been playing that more?
Rock, what Rocket League?
Yeah, yeah,
I'll just poke my head in and play like a couple of games. It'll frustrate me because I'm playing with AI because I don't want to play online and
Oh, you have to play
completely
online. That's the
invest.
best part. We have to have you. We'll have to bring you in to a. We'll have to get you on to play with
That's
Dave
it.
and I, or Chaser and I. It's so good.
I mean, I do like the game a lot, but I mean, it's just the AI is frustrating. But at least they don't talk shit to me.
Oh no, there's no talking in the game. There's like a chat, but
Really?
there's like a little like push button chat, but there's no one. They can't vocally talk to you. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
unless you're on the
Well,
same team, and then that same person on your team is being a dick. That's different.
yeah.
But no, we usually the way we play is usually we talk in the Discord chat, so we don't even use PSN or the
Okay.
Rocket League chat. It's just so. because I play on PC generally, and then
And
those guys play on PS4. So, but
that's what's nice about that game is cross-platform play.
oh yeah, 100%, so cool.
Like just for fun, it's like I had it both going on Switch and the PS4, and I had like both my characters on the same team. But since I was the only one playing, it's kind of hard
Oh
because I
right, right, right.
can't do two controllers.
It's cool too because for the most part, your progression, like whatever you purchase, usually unless it's like exclusive to the console, it transfers over to like the PC or the Switch. So like whatever.
Oh well, so I didn't know that you could like share your account across different
Oh
platforms because
yeah,
I've got like
100%.
two
So
different I guess accounts
so
because
so like
they're
the Switch
both
has the
based on
Mario Kart, has the Mario Kart cars. Those don't go over to like the other platforms. But like if I bought,
right.
so I bought the Fast and the Furious Skyline, but that pops up in my
Yeah,
P
I
on my,
remember seeing that
yeah. So
when I was trying to play with you that one time.
yeah, we'll have to try and set that up. We'll have to do like, I mean, it's always fun to like get that together and have some people like or even if you just have a bunch of dudes together and just play 4v4, that's super fun too, just like locally. That's fun. But
And by the way, there's something. I mean, that's more kind of a political thing, but
uh-oh.
that well, no. Going back to the original question at the beginning is like when companies or like when they just stop all the bullshit and allow crossplay, like when everything works out.
It's nice. Yeah, it's nice that the companies have started to allow that kind of shit. Yeah. Like
So I mean, which
uh
yeah,
it was kind of one of those funny things too cuz like Epic Games, the way that kind of happened on PlayStation is that they allowed it on PlayStation even though PlayStation wasn't allowing it yet, but Rocket League allowed it, and then PlayStation's like, "Oh, well, we didn't allow that." And Rocket League was like, "Oh, that's okay. We'll just turn it off." Meaning that they had it ready to go. They've had it ready to go. So then they basically did it on purpose to make Sony the bad guy, and then ultimately
yeah.
kind of make Sony be like, "Okay, I guess
Sony had to cave.
we kind of had to cave to it because Sony made it sound like it was going to be super hard to do it, and Rocket League was like, "Oh no, we just had a button. We made a mistake. We'll turn it off. Sorry."
Yeah. Wonder if that's what happened with Borderlands 3 because I believe that's now you
Yeah, a
can
lot of, I
crossplay
mean,
on that
Destiny
too.
finally like I mean, Destiny can do crossplay. I mean, it is
Of course, they all wait until these games are free to play, but
that is true. I think that's kind of one of those things too. Like once they have the money making system intact for them,
like the
then they
secondary run of
then they don't
them.
care if the console is making money or not because they're doing a thing on their own. So it's kind of outside of, and I get why Sony would be upset because Sony wants to make money too, and they can't really make
Right?
money off of that. So, you know, everyone's trying to get theirs, Nick.
I know. Everybody, they just want their piece of your dollar.
Well, I mean, if that's kind of one of the cool, you answered the original question finally. 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
What do you, if
Hey,
that's one of
there,
the if that's one of the good things that is like the crossplay thing? What's one of the worst things that games are doing currently? Game developers, games. What is not
I
doing?
mean, I guess I kind of touched partly on it. It's just a lot of just the open world. Like, I mean, this isn't even my point, but I mean, somebody else. It's just you become errand boy, like on side quests in some of these
No, but
open
okay,
world games.
that's fine. But like, what do you feel like? What do you
But
think?
I mean,
But
I mean,
why do you feel like you're not engaged with games right now? What do you think? What is it about video games that you're not engaged with?
I think a lot of it's just more me personally, just having the time to do so. Like, it's really hard to like even with like some of the games that I've actually put a little bit of time in, like Death Stranding, and even Outer Worlds. I mean, it's like I started playing them, I put a few minutes to maybe a couple hours into them, and it's like I didn't hate them, I like them, but it's just by the time I got back to them, because I have only the one day off, um, it's kind of forgot what I was doing. I kind of forget the controls, and maybe this is where old age comes in. Not only is my reaction speed down, but my memory is gone.
I don't.
But
I
it
mean, I
seems
agree. I mean, I don't disagree with that. I mean, I agree. Like, I don't even think it's your memory. I think you play something, you get used to it for a couple hours, and then you spend like a week away from it, and you come back, you're like, what the fuck?
how do I do? Yeah, it's like, how do I do what? And then especially if you're playing like a different game, like I used to do this a lot when I switch back and forth between Fallout and Borderlands. Like especially when the first two Borderlands, I played characters that had turrets that you threw out. And then I start playing Fallout, and I'm sitting here trying to throw out a turret, and then I realize I'm playing Fallout, and I have that ability,
There you
and
go.
vice versa. And even Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, their controls, like I was playing on a PC, and I have like this older keyboard that's like a gaming computer, like a gaming keyboard.
Under
I
the
don't know if
Terra
you can
Core.
really,
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
yeah, it's right here, but you've got like
I
gaming buttons sitting right here
nice.
for Fat Fingers McGee here. Um, but even then, it's like the software is cool because it came with like you could download the keys already pre-assigned based on a different game, and all you'd have to do is pull down the drop-down list and select them. But sometime in the late 2000s, they stopped
Support.
updating that list,
So,
but
yeah.
I could still select the Fallout 3 setting on it, make it work for New Vegas, but it was still some of the buttons were a little different. So it's like if I went from Fallout 3 to New Vegas, I'd have to remember that things slightly changed a little bit. But yeah, another scenic route to get to a point of how my memory is somewhat bad with controls.
Whatever. I mean, it's funny. Like, I agree. Like, I feel like right currently I've started doing this thing where I'm going back to games I haven't played in a very long time, and I'm playing Mass Effect Andromeda right now. I'm trying to get back into it. I put like 20 hours into it, but coming back to it, it's just like the game seems so foreign. Like I've never played it before in my life. It's just like one of those things, like because I feel like games are doing every time you put up a new game. So I feel like they're a little bit different. They do things slightly different, and this one, it just seems the controls just seem completely backwards, and it drives me nuts. And then I've been spending the last few hours just being like, what why is circle? I don't know. I just keep like it just keeps
No,
pissing me
no,
off. Like the controls just keep pissing me off. Like it should do this, and instead I eject out of something, and I'm like, oh my god, this pisses me off.
it's like me. Like I remember that, like playing a Grand Theft Auto San Andreas um, back on the PS2. Like I'd play like another game, I'd come back to it, and I might be flying around in a jet, and I want to hit one button, and then I hit the eject button, and I'm like way up high, and then I'm just plummeting to my death. But to go back to what you're saying, where things are reversed, I mean that's kind of like my experience has been with Kirby in some situations. Like I don't know how familiar you are with. I mean,
Well, Japanese
I'm not.
games, they tend to do that whole thing where like the circle is, or what is it? Like Metal Gear used to be like that too, and then they changed it to American, but like
Well,
uh
no, I was talking like I was going to mention. There's a point in the game where you glide, which
okay.
is basically flying. And I mean, I don't know if you've played any flying games at all, but I mean, you're kind of conditioned to like you push down on and you go up. Not so much with this. I mean, you push down and you go down, and that just it completely fucks with you.
Whoa, whoa,
And
whoa,
then
whoa,
there's
whoa, whoa,
also
whoa, whoa! Well, this is an important contention then. Like just in general, when you play first person shooters, are you an inverted stick guy or are you a normal guy? Well, I mean, I know you were a mouse guy, but like on the
yeah,
twin sticks, do you pick inverted view or no?
um, no, like
No.
what do you mean?
So like if you have a like if you're playing a first person shooter like on a console.
Oh,
Do
gosh, you
you?
know what? I don't know.
Oh, you don't know if you select inverted. Do you prefer to look
Hmm.
like you're flying a plane, or do you prefer to look like you push up and you look up?
Actually, you know what? I think I'm not inverted when I'm in first person.
So like if you were playing Call of Duty
Um,
on a PlayStation, when you push up, you look up.
Yes.
Okay. See,
I'm not
I
even sure about that. But I just know if I'm but I just know if I'm in any sort of flying mechanism, it
yes.
it has to be inverted.
Yes. But
That
that's
I
the
know.
correct way. But that's the correct way.
Yeah.
In a flying situation, that's
Uh-huh.
the correct way. So I play first
Yes.
person shooters in that same because I'm flying the character. In my personal opinion, I'm in a cockpit of this person's head. When when I push down, I want to go up, and when I push up,
Yes.
I go down. I want to I'm flying this person. So like I think I forget. I think Dave and I are inverted, and Jared and Aaron are not inverted. So like, there's like this fight of. I could be wrong though. I thought I think Dave is inverted, but he might not be. I don't know. There's an argument between us. Like, why do you do that? Because like when you're playing like co-op, like next to each other, and you switch off the controllers, everyone gets pissed off that like, oh my god, you're inverted, and they
Oh.
have to switch it back. So I was just curious if you knew if you were an inverted or not inverted gamer.
See, it's like I wanted to say for sure, but I swear there's been instances where it wasn't inverted and I was expecting it to be inverted, just like not like in a regular situation, and it kind of screwed with me. But it's like I can't say with any definitive answer. It's like I actually have to go sit down and play just to be sure.
I mean,
You
it's even in third person too, like Death Stranding and stuff. Like you could press up and
know?
look up. So like if you're a little character walking around in the world, like Mario, let's say,
Mhm.
and you press up, you want to look up.
Yeah, and Mario, yeah, that's how it's.
See, I would if I was third person Mario, I would press down and want to look up. That's just how my brain
Oh,
is wired.
oh, so I'm thinking of the 2D Mario's. I was
Oh
not
no,
the
I was
like
thinking like
3D.
third
Uh,
person,
um,
3D world. Yeah,
yeah,
it's weird, right? You're freaking out right now.
yeah.
You don't know what
I ha
you don't know if you're an inverted or reverted. You're just normal person. You don't know if you're
see.
normal or inverted.
I don't even remember my controls for what I prefer.
It was like a Top Gun, because I
And,
was inverted. No
mm,
bullshit. Oh, he was, man. It was
yeah.
beautiful. I have a Polaroid. Anyway, that Top Gun moment brought to you by Top Gun Maverick, coming out May 27th. Okay, what were we talking about?
Inverted controllers and
Inverted
first person
controllers. I know.
or third
Oh,
person. But yeah, I guess I never really thought about it because a lot of times when I was playing like first person stuff, it's always I'm usually playing with the mouse, so it's like yeah, the mouse is usually doing everything.
yeah. So I
But
play
I guess
obviously I play normal with the mouse. Like when because the mouse is you're looking. The mouse is looking. So like
yeah.
that's different. It's not. It's
But
not.
you can invert the mouse too.
Oh yeah, but
Really wanted to.
that's weird. That's okay. That's another. That's
That's a little too
gnarly.
far.
That's too crazy. No. So like, if you wanted to like, so like, kind of like along these lines, like, what is your what console generation do you think you identify with the most? I feel like for me, I'm kind of PS2, PS3. Like those are my sweet spots. Like that's my
Like what do you
that like where you're
um
what the moment you were most in love with video games, you identify the most, and you those games are like you love the most.
oh gosh, because it's hard to because I'm nostalgia is always really strong with me just because it's I'm always thinking about the times that were rather than the times that are.
Do you feel like you're
So
chasing nostalgia all the time?
yeah, but I mean that's just how I am a lot of times. So it's like music or video games or stuff. Like I mean, even downloading emulators and ROMs and stuff like that. I mean, it was fun to go back to some of those games, but again, after a while, it just kind of stopped playing them. And so, I mean, it's like that nostalgia kind of has a shelf life at times. I mean, it's always nice to go back every once in a while, but I mean, but I mean,
What did you grow up on? Like a Super Nintendo? Like what was your like kind of like main console when you were a
well,
kid?
no, my main console was the NES.
NES.
I want to say I got it for my birthday in '87.
Wait, Nick, how old are you,
And
Nick? I always forget how old you are.
I will be. Wait, what year is it? 2022. Yeah, I'll be 43 at the end of June.
Oh, okay, so you're just okay. You're just a couple years younger than me.
Yeah, yeah. So it was after third. So it was after third grade.
I thought you were way a bit younger than me. Like I thought you were still like in your late 30s.
No, I wish.
Me too.
Um, yeah, yeah. I had the NES probably for a good 3, 4 years before we got the Genesis. I think for Christmas of '91, and then a couple of years after that, we finally got a Super Nintendo. And
But what
um,
consoles do you think you identify to the most? Like which ones are you like most attached to? Which
I don't
one?
know, guys. What do you think? They're all sitting right over there.
Oh, you need to stack them behind you. Hang them on the wall. Decorate your fucking.
Well, they're all hooked up to the TV.
Oh, you need to shift
And,
them over
and
here. You need to shift them behind you.
maybe next week. That'll be next week's background
Next week project.
instead
I
of the
don't need this
terracotta
fucking fitness shit. This is not couch fitness.
fitness into the picture. Um, I don't know. It's like they all have their great memories, but I mean, like, because I had a lot of fun playing games on a PC though too. So I mean, it's
That's
like that
fun.
doesn't really, but I mean, that doesn't really correspond with um console generations. I mean, I could tell you the games that I really had a lot of fun playing, and like I guess the release dates,
Uh,
but I mean,
I mean, what were those games? Like you're like a like
um,
StarCraft and
no, not so much. But I mean, like Counter Strike, like right before it went retail. I mean, that was a lot of fun, and then when it finally did retail, I mean, we're talking late 2000, early 2001, stuff like that. I had a
so
lot of
like
fun with.
that.
I mean,
So that's around the PS2 Dreamcast
yeah, I
drop.
mean, yeah, Dreamcast.
But that's
I
that
didn't.
that's that era.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, it's like I'm not picking my favorites. I'm just kind of high. I can never do favorites anyway, just because it's just my feelings may change from day to day. But I mean,
But you bring up Counter Strike quite a bit, so you must love Counter Strike quite a bit.
oh, I did be. I mean, that was a very hard. I mean, there weren't a lot of games that I played where I actually stayed up the entire night and played right through. And it, I mean, it was also kind of a gateway into socializing with people on the internet and kind of meeting up with them and like traveling around and meeting them. Like there was like a small group of people in Montana, drove out there, met up with them, um, and flew out and met a guy in DC. He took us around, me and a friend, like a real life friend of mine.
What?
Yeah.
Just out of that, just out of like Counter Strike, you were like you flew out to DC.
hmm Well, I mean, this was like 3 or 4 years later, but I mean, we had already built kind of like a rapport with the guy. But um, I mean, there was a couple other factors too. Like I want some plane tickets at work, so it was just so. I mean, and I had dragged in like a real life buddy of mine into it. So he's
Did
like,
you
"Hey,
guys
let's
play
go."
Counter Strike in DC or no?
No, we didn't. It was more. We did
Just
more touristy stuff.
just got
Like we went to
meet and greet, right?
well, meet and greet, and then he took us around to like the Smithsonian. Got to walk around the White House on a Sunday evening, um, and
It would be too
ordered.
nerdy if you flew to DC and just like, oh, let's fire him up, dude.
Well, I mean, we met up with a guy in New Mexico who lived on an Air Force base and got us on, and that's kind of what we did. We just kind of like all just noted out on um, video games. Like I think that's where
That's
I
awesome.
started playing Unreal 2 on there. This was like back in 2003. That
That's
was a
awesome.
pretty fun game.
That's pretty
Um,
good. Yeah, that's a good game.
yeah. But I mean, yeah. So I mean, there was kind of like a internet social life that sprung up out of that too.
So have you always
Um,
been kind of like a console and PC guy?
yeah. I mean, it's I never get them right away. Like the PS2, I didn't get that until 2003. PS3, I got that in 2008, and I mean, I just had to wait for like certain games that I know I wanted to play before I got them. Um, I
Nowadays the PC is kind of making it like harder to think like why get a console? Like I mean,
I mean, there's one aspect of it. I mean, there was always that. I mean, PCs are great because you can customize them to your own needs and wants, and I mean, it's probably a lot easier these days than at least like the first time I tried building my computer. Um, I was having all sorts of problems. Like even my first computer that I ever built, I bought Final Fantasy VII for it, and it was just I just could not get it to work. Like it always wanted to. It never wanted to use a video card to render the graphics, so everything just looked like shit. And so I mean, so I ended up never playing the game just because it just looked god awful. Like this is even for the year 2000.
right. I mean, I was
But
always kind of like I never I would always be into PC gaming when I had a PC. When I didn't have a PC, I'd buy a console because the console was cheaper generally. So like
yeah, and then the nice thing is just like everything works.
yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, granted, a lot more stuff nowadays is it's a lot more plug and play,
Right.
it's a little bit more dummy proof. But I mean, but my point is bringing up all that stuff. It's like you grab a console to play Final Fantasy VII on, and you just put the disc in, and everything just automatically works, rather than sitting here having to sit here and just like fuck around with stuff like and wherever, just trying to get the stupid thing to work, which is kind of what that thing is with Windows 10 and that keyboard that I pulled up because, like I said, like I mentioned, the list of games that it's not necessarily supports, but kind of has like that it I can't even think of what it is, but they stopped doing that.
How old is it? Because I
Um,
mean, I feel like currently, like as we get more current, I feel like they like it almost seems endless. Like or there's like you can find someone who has made a driver or a patch for it. Like the Sony PlayStation camera, the old ones for the PS3. There's a driver for PC that someone made. It's like someone went out of their way to
well,
like say, "Hey, this will work. Just use this."
wasn't wasn't necessarily drivers, but it was just like a lot of different workarounds. Because I mean, the software that came with that keyboard that had like all the pre-assignments for the keys. That's I guess the word I was looking for. Um, uh, that was never meant to be on Windows 10. I mean, this is all stuff that was probably Windows 7 at best.
Right.
It's like I said, it
Not
didn't even have
Vista,
a
not Windows Vista.
maybe, but I mean, I mean, like I think I first bought the keyboard probably the mid late 2000s, and then I bought that one probably not when actually I built that computer in 2010, early 2010. Um, so it's just once I upgraded to Windows 10, it was just finding various workarounds and then making sure certain things didn't get updated, because once that happened, then it's like it screwed up the workaround, and then I'd have to go back and just turn into a giant headache. And now it's and now it's a little bit of a struggle if I ever want to go back and play like New Vegas or just even whatever else is on Steam.
Oh, it
I
won't
mean,
play those older games still?
no, it'll play. It's just like when it comes to the preloaded key assign, like the what key, like all the functions are preset for each
Right.
key on like the gaming side for the fat fingers.
Your fingers aren't that fat, Nick. Come on.
I know, but I mean it's funnier when I see that.
They've been working out on the old Terra
Yeah,
core.
but actually, it's probably been more the Peloton.
You should be sitting on this ball. Why is this workout equipment in this room? This is not the workout room.
No, it's not, but it just I was looking for something ridiculous to put in the background, and there we
Oh, you
are.
did that on purpose. Oh, I
Yes,
see. I see.
yes.
Oh,
So for anybody watching the video, just keep an eye on the background. It's like my little weekly Easter egg.
that's funny. That's funny.
There's always going to be something.
Recycling
Why the other guy?
boxes. Recycling
Yeah.
boxes, workout equipment.
Eventually, I'm going to just have some person just sit there, not even look at the camera, just kind of look away.
I love the decor. I just wish you had like some kind of painting or picture or poster on this wall behind you. Like you just need to hang something right here that's more not a wall. Is all. That's all I'm looking for. That's all I'm asking for. Just a little something. Just a little.
I don't know. Sometimes I just like the simplicity of just all white, because
It's not white.
sometimes
It's
the
more of a
effort just
beige, isn't it?
I guess I'm just saying plain,
Plain. It's more.
because
It's more of a
oh,
vanilla, right?
more vanilla. Perfect analogy, I guess, because it's I don't know. Sometimes decorating can just it
What are
becomes
you?
too much.
What are
Like
you
I
talking
think
about? Are you telling me my decorations are too much?
no, I'm talking about for myself. Like sometimes I put too much thought in there, and then I end up feeling like a douche, or like too much of a
Never,
try hard.
never feel like a douche or a tryhard. Never. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't want to feel like a tryhard, but here's all my fitness equipment.
Well, I mean, if it's funny, that's one thing, and plus it's temporary.
Well, all my shit could be temporary. I guess I tried too hard.
Oh,
Anyway,
no,
Nick thinks I'm a tryhard. I get it. That's cool. I get it. That's fine.
nope. I don't talk about other guys. I'm just talking about myself. I mean,
Uh,
so
this
it's
this episode brought to you by Bex. What are you
yeah.
drink? Are you drinking this? You still drinking the barley wine?
Oh yes, but I think I've got another barley wine wind up
Oh, another barley wine.
after. Yes.
Oh my god. Oh, hair of the dog, baby.
Yeah.
That's actually for the people. Well, we didn't record tonight, but that's actually next week's episode that releases is our brewery video review of Hair of the
How
Dog.
timely.
How timely. But that's
Yeah.
next week, so it doesn't really matter.
Uh,
People that listen to this do not listen to that. Or maybe they do. I don't know. So how is Kirby? I mean, you're deeper into Kirby now. Let's hear about it.
yeah.
How is Kirby?
I mean, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot of simplistic fun. I mean, it's very like I even like I don't know if I mentioned it last week where I actually intentionally chose the harder of the two settings, but I mean, it's not that difficult. But I mean, it kind of took me a little bit to pick up on certain nuances, because I mean, um it's not just like the oh hello,
Who is this? Oh my god, it's
it,
Jarrod.
it's sideways, Jared.
Sideways Jarrod. He needs to like turn his phone.
Oh,
Your phone isn't doing its landscape properly. There it
There we
goes.
go.
yeah.
Oh my god, it's
Can,
Jarrod Clark, ladies and gentlemen.
can you hear me?
We can't hear
Oh,
you.
hello.
Can you hear us?
Okay. Yeah.
Nick was just about to expound upon his feelings about the new. He's gonna, back into the Kirby game. He's gonna talk about it some more.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
Kirby Week 2.
Kirby Week 2.
Um, but no, I mean, it's like they've got like each level kind of has like hidden objectives that you never know until you like come across them that you need to complete them, and everything's kind of measured just based on these people that you're trying to free. But I mean, like one was as simple as getting 5 little ducklings to follow me so I could find their mother, and then I was able to free a character of this race of people that I'm trying to save.
But you're really into it. It's like, I think you're like what,
Yeah,
8 to 10 hours now, 10, 12 hours now.
I mean, I don't know. I could be over exaggerating or not. I didn't look. I mean, to go back, but it like today. So I thought I was supposed to work yesterday, or yeah, today's Sunday. Yeah, thought I was supposed to work yesterday, but I got a message like late Friday. No, don't come in. We'll have you work on Sunday. And so Saturday, I did a couple of chores, and everybody was still asleep. So I was just like, fuck it, sat down and started playing. Played for a couple hours, then people got up and started crying because they had to watch me play. So um,
He won't
I
play in
stopped for a
handheld
little
mode,
bit.
Jared. He only plays on the screen. He won't play in handheld mode.
Yeah, you'll get over that someday. Well, Ian's the same way.
Well,
He only wants to play on a screen.
I only want to play on the
well,
screen, but on the Switch I only played in handheld.
well. I mean, why should I have to if I don't need to?
Because I feel like it needs to be a mobile. I feel like it's more of a mobile console than it is a actual console. So I feel like you need to play it handheld.
I mean, I guess if I have to, I will. But I mean, if I don't have to, then
So this is a
I'm
game
gonna
that
have it.
Jared has to get, right, Kirby?
Um, sure.
This is a Jared ass game, right?
I'd like to play it. I
I
played
mean,
the demo. I
yeah.
enjoyed that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because I mean, there's so many Kirby games that already existed, and the only one I have experience with was the first one. I think I've mentioned this before, but I mean, it's like the first one and whatever's on the Super Nintendo. Uh, that God, I can't think of that super little pocket-sized console. The SNES Classic. But all I did was play the levels that were the original game rehash.
Right.
So I don't know if that really counts.
Well,
But
Jared.
yeah, it could be a
Oh,
Jared game all day.
well, Jared, welcome. Happy Mother's Day. It sounds like you had a very busy day today.
Oh
Weekend,
yes,
mother.
of course, yeah.
That must be because he's not even in the garage.
He's not in his garage.
Ugh.
He's trying. He doesn't want to get cold.
Well, I sat down.
Still
Sorry,
has COVID.
expecting to play a video game, and then you yelled that I should join the
You don't
chat.
have to join
Uh,
the chat. But he's playing video games
yeah,
right now. What are
so
you playing right now?
I've been playing Destiny 2. I'm finally
Yes.
going through the Witch Queen
Finally.
storyline.
Not
I mean, it
finishing
only came out
Horizon?
2 months ago. I'll get to it.
Get to it.
I'm trying to do one step at a time. I know Destiny will take me less time than Horizon, and I know I'm pretty close on Horizon. But I would like to do a lot more of the side content in it because there's tons and tons of stuff to do in the game, a lot of side quests and stuff like that. I've just been kind of walking around for the most part, so I don't want to do a disservice to the game in that manner.
Are you playing Destiny 2 with your brother still or no?
No, nobody plays this late anymore.
And is Jeremy still playing at some point, or
Yeah, he still plays. He's already done with all the story content though.
Dude, he just busted through it without you.
Well, yeah, he
not
plays
one to
lots of
wait?
Destiny. He gets to play during the daytime.
Well, how is it? How is the Destiny content? I don't.
It's great.
no one seems to
And
talk about it, so I'm not quite sure what it's.
well, yeah, not many people talk about like games as a service at this point. And I mean, Destiny's been around so long. I think people just kind of got tired of talking about, hearing about it kind of stuff. But I mean, it's still Destiny 2, and it's great. It's wonderful. The new scenario is really good. I like the new areas that they provide in the game. It's always interesting. There's always something cool or new to look at. Like every mission, I'm like, whoa, that's cool. Whoa, cool. Whoa, yeah, awesome. You know, it runs in 4K and has HDR, all that stuff. The graphics are super crazy good still, and it's just it's sticking with the times. It's a solid game, and I wish more
Yeah,
people would still play it.
I would. You know what? Here's
yeah,
here's my cool breakdown of this. Sony bought Bungie. I wish PlayStation Plus Premium, the premium top tier, allowed all the content. So obviously the base game is free to play, but if the premium subscription had an option that you get all the content to play it, I'd play it. Sure, why not? I'll pay monthly to play Destiny 2, but no. I get PS3 and PS1 games and PS2 games and trials. No one wants demos should just be demos. Like don't make me pay for demos. Like that's the most stupidest fucking PlayStation. Pull your heads out of your ass. Look at what Xbox is doing. You need to top that. So PlayStation Premium Super Plus should have all the Destiny content locked behind it. So if you have it and Destiny, you can play it. You have that. That's your studio now. Just make that happen. People are going to flock to that, just for that alone. Anyway,
Yeah, because it's an expensive game to keep up on.
exactly. And I don't want to keep.
It's
I don't know what I need to buy and what I don't need to buy. How do I keep playing? How do I not play? What do I? I don't even know what I have anymore at this point. It just sucks. And it's like, hey, just give us a plan. Anyway, because it's like Game Plus, Game Pass. Like for a time there, they had a bunch of they do certain things, they allow certain things. Like just make. I feel like that could have been the killer right there. Oh hey, if you get PS Plus Premium, you get all the Destiny content. That's all you
well,
need. That's all you need to
it,
do.
it, it's still early for them to do anything like that because they don't officially own Bungie yet. I
It's
think there's
true.
lawsuits being thrown out, and people are
Oh,
checking it out.
everyone has lawsuits. They're
Yeah,
suing
yeah, of
Kotick
course.
again because he was. Anyway, yes, 100%.
Yeah, because he's Kotick. Yeah.
Kotikovich. Remember the whole the guy what is it? The Metal Gear Son. The what are those guys that did the? So it was like Call of Duty and Metal Gear. They did those
Oh, yeah.
videos. They're kind of funny,
Hmm.
and they're like Snake and Ghost were like pals, and they had to fight. Anyway, Activision's son or whatever it was, and they would always make Kotikovich. It was the lead bad guy was Kotikovich, and
Yeah,
he was a bad guy, and they always talking shit about him, and it's all coming to light now.
that's funny.
I forget what that they're called. Beatdown Boogie,
It's
Beatdown Boogie on
metal
YouTube,
something. Yeah.
youtube.com/Beatdown Boogie, and yeah, it was like Metal Gear something, but they also did a Mario version, which is pretty funny too.
Wasn't it a take on like Metal Gear, but modern gear? Modern
Modern
Gear?
Gear. I think it was Modern Gear.
Yeah, I think it was Modern Gear.
I think it was Modern Gear. It's pretty hilarious.
Hmm.
Anyway, that's old. That's old school. Anyway,
Yeah, that's very old.
I don't even think those guys don't really do anything anymore, which is too bad because they were pretty funny. Hmm.
I haven't
Anyway,
kept up on the channel.
Jared's playing Destiny 2. Nick's
Well,
playing.
I beat Elden Ring, so
Oh yes, you
I
did.
still play a little bit of that here and there. I played a little bit of it today.
Oh, you're so.
So
What do you? Oh, are you playing New Game Plus, or are
yeah,
you back in your world just doing stuff?
I'm just back in my world doing stuff because I do want to, clean some of it up. Maybe over the year I'll decide to go for the platinum or something like that. Because I mean, it requires what, two more endings, which I think one I can just go and beat the game again and do that. The other one requires New Game Plus because I have to do some storyline stuff. But all depends on how long it would take me to get all the items.
I will say that I was playing Elden Ring the other night, and I have started playing it again, Jared, because you were saying I was going to give up on it. I have not given up on it. But last night I was playing it, and I thought I had fucked up the Nefeli quest line because I had given her the potion, but she didn't. She rejected the potion from me, and so I don't know. And I finally found her again, and I gave the potion to her foster father, and then I talked to her, and then so like I finished her quest line last night. I was like, oh yay, it's all done, and she's the king of Stormville, or the Lord of Stormville Castle now, and that was very cool. I was like,
Oh,
oh, I thought I had fucked that whole quest line up, but last night I figured out I didn't fuck it up. So I was
I don't know if I finished any of the storylines other than Ranny's.
finished Randy's, finished Nefeli's now. Um, well, Nefeli's and Kenneth's are the same, so I finished their quest lines. I think I finished someone else's, but
Yeah, like when I'm reading through some stuff about Elden Ring, it's like telling me, "Oh, this so and so's quest." I'm like, "Who?" And they're like really big quest lines, and I just completely missed these characters.
yeah, there's some shit that like I was just like, huh? Oh,
Yeah,
the twins.
like and Gold Mask or something like
Yeah,
that.
the twin, like the so he's like a brother in originally in their round table, and then he dies, and then you have to go fight that boss, and then his as a brother, and then you have to kill her and take. I did that. I completed that quest too. So anyway, there's some weird
Yeah,
shit going on in the game. So that's why I've just been like grinding. I don't know. I'm also just afraid that I'm not good enough, so I'm just trying to like get my. I'm trying to just raise my dexterity to like 60 right now. That's all I'm trying to do right now.
60.
Yeah, I just want to
Do
get
you
my
have an item that
dexterity.
requires that?
Huh?
Do you have an item that requires that?
No, I just want my two-handed katanas to just inflict craziness. I was watching a bleed
Okay.
build, and they want the dexterity at 60 for some reason. So, and I don't want to go respec, so I'm just gonna grind. I'm at like
Yeah, I've thought
I
of
think I'm at like a level
respecting.
180 right now.
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what.
at 159.
Yeah, I'm just trying to grind it up, Jared. I'm just trying to be so. I'm trying to get OP.
I was OP.
I hope I'm OP. Anyway, yeah. I probably will not beat the game until like November. I'm just gonna hold off. Tell me about Returnal though. You played the hardcore level. What is that?
The new tower,
The
yeah.
tower modes.
Yes. I mean, it's easy to get into once you load the game back up. I mean, she even like calls out like, "Oh, where did this tower come from?" Pretty much, of course, with better narrative than that. But then, uh, sorry, nighttime gets a little harder to not cough. Uh, Nick says will work for PS5, but at the beginning area where you always respawn, there's always this door off to the right side. So you just go there and uh, there's a lot of floors, of course. Like I've heard that there's like 8 levels or something like that. I almost made it past the second floor, which there's like 20 levels on each floor. Um,
Is there one
and
per world? So like the world, like whatever biome has one. So like it's all the same enemies, or like it's just like a singular tower that has different enemies that share
I
enemies.
noticed I noticed different enemies, and there's now like a new staggering meter. like you build that meter all the way up, and it'll stagger an enemy to make them easier to take out and stops them from attacking and stuff like that. Um, they're very small rooms, so they're manageable, but it depends on the forces of the enemies that you're fighting. Of course, it gets more complex as you go farther. The
Well,
enemies get harder,
I'm glad
as you'd expect,
I'm
and
glad you're
it's
practicing
super
so you
interesting.
can help carry me
Yeah,
to the like I'm glad
yeah, I
you're
need to carry you
practicing.
through. I would love to. I would love to.
Yeah, we should probably do that at some point. We should probably do that at some
Yeah, I want
point.
to play that game with you so bad. Um, at the very beginning, before you even go in, like the main story door, there's actually the online kind of hub area where you can join and create rooms and ask for help, that kind of stuff. So it's like really easy to access. I didn't try any of the co-op stuff. I didn't invite anybody. I didn't join anybody. But maybe next time I play, I'll jump into the co-op stuff just with some rando.
Cool. Cool.
I'm
Uh
excited to see what it has to offer.
yeah.
The
I have
the,
it installed. I'm excited. I should get back into it. I just I have it. I took a break from video games and then I got back into Elden Ring and obviously I went back to. I love Elden Ring so much. So like I wasn't not gonna not play Elden Ring. I needed to take a break from video games for a while. And then I started playing
yeah.
Mass Effect again just to try and beat it. So hopefully I beat it this time. But
Yeah, I liked Andromeda.
it has its issues though. Oh my god, but yeah. It's fun. It's goofy. It's not as good as the originals, but it definitely has its
No,
place.
it was it was its own thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
Boys. Well, first of all, Jarrod, thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Coming in. Nick and
Did you
were
want to
you?
ask me the question?
Oh, we did have a question. I was asking like, uh, what do you think? We were just kind of like, because it was just Nick and I were trying to come up with something cool. Um, what do you think games today is doing really well? Like, what do you think about what thing in video games today is doing what is something that they're doing really well?
Um, I'd say accessibility to some degree because um, I was watching some videos today about older games, and I mean, there were no difficulty choices, so you just had to figure out how to fight it. Kind of like Elden Ring or the Souls games. I always compared them to like Ghosts and Goblins. So like, oh, okay, I'm just playing Ghosts and Goblins in 3D. You know, it's you just have to get really good at it and memorize everything. Um, but most games are making different ways for anybody to really play through them with different control styles. And it's inviting more people to play games in ways that they want to. So it's more friendly.
Cool.
And I think that is the best thing that video games could do.
And then alternatively, what do you think is kind of like what is one of the bad things? What is one of the worst things that video games is kind of doing nowadays?
Gi- Giving you too much to do.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think that's
I
where
think Mass Effect
kind of,
Andromeda is that's where
yeah,
that game fails. It's just oh my god.
that's kind of why I've been dodging most Assassin's Creed games. Uh,
Fair
I'm
enough.
kind of fearful of for Horizon Forbidden West because there's so much stuff to do. So I think I kind of put that on the side burner for a while because of that. But then games like, oh, sorry, Elden Ring, there's no objectives or waypoints or anything like that, which is part of its critical annoyance because there's no like log. There's no way to track your side quests, no way to track your quests. You just have to be like, uh, maybe I'll bump into somebody later that'll talk about something I might have bumped into, question mark.
But that's on you as the player, kind of. I think I kind of like that more in the sense that like it's not forcing me. Like now have a laundry list of things I need to do. I don't really need to do them, but they're giving me this laundry list. I don't. Elden Ring doesn't give you a laundry list. It just is like Good luck. I don't know.
They could
So do
have.
There's
you,
something freeing about that.
so do you have to remember to do this laundry list of stuff that is not the laundry list?
Elden
You have
Ring, you
no
don't know.
idea
You have no
what
idea. You
point
have
you're
no
at.
idea in Elden Ring. You have no
So
idea.
to go back, to go back to what I was talking about earlier, if I'm playing Elden Ring like maybe once a week or twice a month, I mean, am I just going to be completely fucked
No, because you're just doing the same. I mean, as long as you remember
when
the
I'm?
combat, you're just trying to be, you're just trying to do this one goal. Really, you only have one goal in Elden Ring. There are other stories, but it doesn't keep a list. It doesn't give you a list of where to go or what to do. It just that's up to you to figure it out. If you want to figure it out, cool. If not, then whatever. But the game, there's one goal: become Elden Lord or burn down the Erd Tree, whatever. Like finish the game. That's the main quest. If you decide like I met this character and they said to do this other thing, that's on you to remember. you know.
So I guess to go back to an earlier criticism that wanted to share that wasn't mine, but it it's not like I'm running off to go pick berries while Rome burns.
No, you're
No,
never. There's
no.
never picking berries in Elden Ring. I mean, you pick berries in
Well,
Elden
I
Ring,
mean,
but it's so they don't make you. They
well,
don't
I
give you
mean,
those quests. It's not that kind of shit.
well, I mean, my point is, it's like in a lot of games, it's like you have these large. I mean, you would think that there is like some sort of
Right.
timetable to beat the main story, but there isn't. And then you run into a random stranger that wants you to go run some menial
Right.
task for him as a
Assass-
side quest. And
That's Assassin's
Right.
Creed. That is not Elden Ring. I mean, Elden Ring's quests are basically. It says go
I mean,
clear
I
out.
think,
It says go clear out a
I mean,
castle. Basically, it means go kill a boss and come back to me.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But
basically kill a
I mean, it's
boss.
not just Assassin's Creed, but I mean, it could easily be Fallout,
Oh
Red
yeah.
Dead,
No, all those other games are like
even Borderlands.
yeah,
I mean,
all
it's
other
like a lot of.
current yeah, all other current like open world games. It's like, oh, go get these pieces,
Yeah,
and
go be
then
my
like you
errand
get
boy,
all the
bitch.
pieces. It's like, oh, now you have to take the pieces to this guy to put them together, and it's just like,
Hmm.
what? That's like Mass Effect right now. Mass Effect had
Mm.
this like stupid quest where I can't remember. I was like super pissed. Just like, seriously, this is what I'm doing right now? Like it was just pissing me off. It made me go from one planet to the other for just a dialogue sequence, and I was just like, this is what's wrong with video games. There's no reason I shouldn't have to collect something, go to another planet, and then the quest ends with a dialogue sequence. And I'm just like, dude, we
Yeah.
could have just done
Destiny
that
2 does
on the
that a
other
lot.
fucking planet, you fuckers. That is so fucking stupid
Mhm.
because there was no gameplay there for me. It was a bunch of loading screens of me flying through space, and it's just like, oh my,
Mhm.
fuck you guys.
I
Anyway,
mean, I found myself doing stuff like trying to like reduce the amount of tedious travel with
oh,
like a
100%.
lot of a lot of the Borderlands games. It's like a lot of their side
Yeah.
quests. You have to like do something in one area, but you have to go to another area. So it's like I try and do as much in one area as I can before I
Yep.
move on to another area, just because it's so freaking tedious just going
Yeah,
back and forth and back and forth.
they call that min maxing. You know, you're trying to minimize your
Is it?
time by maximizing what you're
Mhm.
doing in that area, but like
Yeah.
some games just like they fuck with you with that. And it's like, don't fuck with me like that. And I feel like Elden Ring just is a game where I don't
Especially if you're going through like a den of enemies that are just like, I mean, they're not hard, but they're just kind of obnoxious to kind of defeat, especially if they constantly respawn.
well, that's Elden Ring's thing. Elden Ring destroys your
Yeah.
time by getting fucked by enemies in an area. They don't fuck with you in your time sink, like traveling here and collecting this and going back and forth and doing that. It's like you Elden Ring's time waste is that you go into an area and get fucked by a group of enemies, or you get fucked by a
Well,
boss, and you do that over and
I
over
mean,
again until you learn how to do it properly, or you bail, go level up, and then come back and beat it. Like that is it's like a classic kind of 2D action game, like Jared was saying, Ghost and Goblins or whatever. Like you learn and then you progress. It's not fucking you over in a sense that, just wasting your time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that was my. I mean, Elden Ring doesn't sound like it's that much of a waste of time versus just
Oh, it's a waste of time.
like,
It can be.
well, okay. I mean,
if if
it's not like
if you don't
it's
like
not like
challenge.
well, challenge is one thing. Another thing is just going through a nest of spider ants in Borderlands like multiple times just to do stupid tasks,
Right.
like just
Yeah.
to carry something back and forth, and so I mean,
Well, yeah, that's where a lot of
that's
games fail
general.
is, yeah, the quest log becomes more of a checklist than an actual fun activity.
Yeah, and it's like you're only doing it but just because, oh, like, I mean, you can get experience, or maybe there's like some cool item that you
Hmm.
may get at the end.
And
Yeah.
that's why I hope Elden Ring is kind of this light on video game development. Not that your games have to be hard, punishing hard, but just like, hey, they can be an open world, an interesting, adventurous game, and you don't have to like go collect 100 of these and then go back to the guy and talk to him. It could be something more adventurous and exciting and interesting and like the cool thing about Elden Ring is the ability of curiosity, like where your curiosity takes you and where like, oh, this is this, oh, this is interesting, oh, this happens, and then now we're here, and it's like, oh my god, what's going on? And then there's a boss, and then you're like, oh shit, and then the boss happens, and then that's where the skill comes down. Like you have to learn the fight, and you die, and you respawn, and that's the skill. There's
Certain,
no, it
certain, yeah, and certain things in Elden Ring don't even happen unless you die.
right. It's a learning experience, and anyway, I hope game developers learn. I mean, Assassin's Creed is a great game, but I feel like the last one, Valhalla, is such it's just so tiresome, and like it's beautiful, it plays well, but it's just such a kind of a meh game that I just like. I mean, I beat it, I went through it, but I just like, man, it just wasn't fun. Anyway. Let's get out of here. We've been on for a while. Let's do a couch
Right.
co-optionals. Nick to win. Something you've drank, eaten, tasted, read, watched, listened to, saw, driven, rode, flew in that you would like to recommend. Exercised with?
Yeah, Peloton and Terracore. No, actually, how about I promote something that is coming out that I'm looking forward to that I just saw
Okay,
trailers for.
go for it.
Disney Plus. I think it's on Disney Plus. It's going to come out on May 20th. But Chip and Dale's Rescue
Oh
Rangers.
my god.
Yeah.
Japandales, Dr. Dave, and
Yeah,
Aaron Stell.
I was completely intrigued by the trailer. I mean, I, it happened to come up on one of the Hulu ads, even though I have ad-free Hulu, kind of. But in any event, I mean, I was completely intrigued by the trailer.
It's so good. It looks funny.
Yeah, it does, and it's nice that it's PG too, which and the fact you've got like a whole menagerie of voice actors, plus including some of the originals from the cartoons. And you have, I can't remember if it's Chip or Dale that got the CGI upgrade, but I mean, it's just
So
I'm looking forward to
Dale gets the
it.
CG, and
Okay.
Chip is kind of burnt out. He's like, Chip for some reason is upset,
Yeah,
and he goes and works like he's like working in an accounting gig or something, just living his life. And Dale's
yeah.
trying to get gigs in Hollywood still, so he does the CG upgrade. So like you have Chip as regular cartoon, and Dale as CG. It's pretty funny.
Hmm. Yeah, it's awesome, and it's also nice because it also has just at least watching the trailer, it kind of has a like that Roger Rabbit feel too.
Yeah, because
You remember that
they're in the
movie?
real world, so it's a
It's,
very meta kind of film.
yeah, Just based on the trailer, it looks like it'll be a lot of fun to watch, and I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Me
And
too.
I didn't realize this was coming either. I don't know if this counts as like one of Disney's live action remakes, which I couldn't really care less about. But I mean, on this particular one, I think I'm looking forward to this one, and I can't wait to watch because not only did I watch the cartoons, but the NES game
Oh,
itself
the
was
NES
also a
game is
lot of fun.
classic.
Mm.
Yes,
NES game is
the
classic.
NES game was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
love
was
that
not
one.
expecting it either, and then when the trailers started popping, I started posting them on the Discord. So, because we have a
I
running,
mean,
we have a running joke in the couch co-op that Dave is Chip and Aaron is Dale, and they're Chip and Dale. So actually, if you do at
and
Chip and Dale in the if you do at Chip and Dale, okay, I will do right now at Chip and Dale. Those two guys will come up as a group.
mm,
Yep, you can tag
and
them
it was
both.
funny. So
And
I actually
that goes just to Dave and Aaron, but they never
and
respond to it, so whatever.
and I actually watched the official trailer today because I was showing like my brother-in-law this video
Uh,
or that this was coming up, and he was excited because he said he was a huge fan back in the day. But it was kind of funny at the very beginning. It actually showed like Chippendale dancers. Like if you thought Chippendale meant this,
oh yeah, they do that. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
yeah. So that was pretty awesome because I mean, especially as a kid, I mean, my first exposure to the term Chip and Dale was the Rescue Rangers, or well, not
Yeah,
necessarily the Rescue Rangers, but the Disney characters. Like the Chip and Dale thing came later, and so I mean, I was confused about that for the
I
longest
mean,
time until
do you remember come along, feel the fizz of Cookie Cola?
yeah, yes, I do.
Anyway, Jared, what do you have for the people? What do you have for the people? Do
well,
you
I
have
watched today from the Gaming Historian. It came out a couple days ago. It's the story of Super Mario World on YouTube.
okay.
And it was really interesting. It tells about the development problems they were having, and the rush up to the release of this Super Famicom and Super Nintendo, and it's just a really interesting little documentary. Um, the Gaming Historian.
Gaming historian, baby. Learn about the Super
Yeah, I
Nintendo.
like I like that channel.
Also
It,
gaming related.
it's
Mhm.
specifically about Super Mario World.
Well, mine is a documentary,
Which
but mine is not gaming related. Like kind of like Nick's and mostly like Jared's. And I posted it on the Discord in our Discord. I want you guys all to watch Cane Toads: An Unnatural History from 1988. It's a documentary about
oh,
toads that were brought to Australia. So I was reading this article today that about Werner Herzog. He's a film director and his favorite films, and his favorite documentary or his favorite film of all time is Cane Toads. And it just happens to be free on YouTube. It's only 46 minutes long, but it starts out kind of like normal, and then it gets just fucking hilarious. It just goes. It's just hilarious. I mean, I think it's hilarious. I don't know. It's pretty funny. It's about these toads they brought over to eat. Cause so they brought basically sugar cane they brought from Hawaii to Australia, and then there was these bugs that these grubs that were killing it. So they brought toads over to eat the grubs. Anyway, but
so
the funny thing is that the director does all this like point of view stuff from like the toads are actual characters, and it becomes less a documentary and kind of this weird, are we watching a film from these toads perspective? Like these toads are like, it's a weird, it's 46 minutes. If you're doing something and you just want to watch something in the background, it's weird. If you want to get drunk and watch it, it's only 46 minutes long, but it's pretty fucking funny. It gets weird
so
and stupid.
this isn't a new documentary,
No,
so it's
it's
been
from
around.
1988.
Okay, so um, bless you.
Cane toads.
So I'm gonna reference an episode of The Simpsons when The Simpsons go to Australia.
Okay.
do you think they take? I mean, I'm assuming the writers have probably seen this. This is why I'm asking if this has been that long, because one of the subplots is Bart brings a toad or like a frog with him over when he goes to Australia, and it somehow overtakes the populate or not. It it becomes a pest just in a short
Okay,
time there.
okay, that's great because obviously this film takes place before The Simpsons ever happened.
Right.
So that I never saw that Simpsons episode, but I believe they're probably referencing that.
It
I believe they're
it
probably
was
referencing that because it is
well,
yeah, it becomes this crazy over like huge. It takes over like yeah, you got to watch. It's but there's some weird
okay.
characters in the video in the film. It's just weird. I mean, it's not like
And by
the
the way,
greatest thing ever, but it's just kind of funny. If you just like are like you're doing something in the background. Yeah, yeah, Jared, just watch it. It's just weird. It's just funny. I think it's just funny. Anyway, especially as it gets towards the end and these guys are trying to kill all these toads and the toads are you really have to anyway, cane toads, an unnatural
and is
history.
this where Battletoads came from?
Yes, not where Battletoads came from.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
let's get out of here. Jared, thanks for hopping on with your
Yeah,
COVID
always
and
nice to
Well,
everything.
chat.
You don't have to.
Oh, come on.
we're fluid.
Nick, thanks for hanging out for the the whole time. We were sticking it out. We thought everyone was gonna show up, and then
Well,
no one showed up.
well, and like
Mother's
another
Day,
Simpsons
man.
reference, it was me trying to drag it out by 900 number describing things by slow descriptions. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
I like the I like the early Simpsons from the 90s. After that, it fell apart.
Well, I want to thank you all for listening and remind you to leave feedback on Twitbook, Instaface, and Gramter at Couch Co-op shows, all one word, no hyphen. Remember to please subscribe, share, and leave us an iTunes review. Also, on
Tell me to
Spotify,
fuck off.
if you're listening on Spotify on your phone or on your computer, it'll give you a video review. You'll see the video of this. It'll be like, oh, it's us talking, and you get to watch us. I don't, that's kind of cool. Or you can do youtube.com/milkmanpictures and watch the video as well. Anyway, I want to thank you all for joining me here on the couch. Jared and Nick, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For Couch Co-op, I'm Ian, reminding you to please be excellent to each other. Wild
Wild Stallions.
Stallions. Couch Co-op.
Got Bill and Ted's video game music played in my head. So yeah.